Hello, everyone. This is Daryl. In this family tree video, I will talk about the AZ profile box. Every individual will have his or her own profile box. Now, before you can make any changes or whatever, add any information, you need to be logged in. And in certain cases, you need to be logged in as an administrator. So let me show you how to get to the profile box. Um, I'm going to use my grandmother's. All right, two ways to get to the profile box. See that little notepad right there? I'm zooming in. Click it, and you're in the profile box. Let me go back. The other option to the right. See that little box right there? Click it. When you click it, you're going to get these options. As you can see, the different options. You click edit that little notepad. So you're in the profile box. Now, once you've entered the profile box, as you can see, this color here is pink. That indicates that you're working with a female. If it was blue, it would indicate that you're working with a male. So you have the first name in the first name box. In the first name box, you would place the first name and the nickname. In the middle name box, you will place the middle name as well as the maiden name. In the last name box, you will place the last name, of course, and prefixes or whatever, junior, senior. All right, next you have gender. If the individual is a male, you change it to male. If the individual is living, alive, yes or no. Birth information. Here, you can click that tab and you have born on, so on and so forth. Next, you can change the month. Here, the date if you know it. Here, the year if you know it. Place of birth. Now, see this little box? This is extra information, extra birth information. All right. For example, if, like in my case, I think I was 3 pounds, blah, blah, blah. You could put that information. I was born at Johns Hopkins Hospital, blah, blah, blah. If you were born in a car, on a farm, so on and so forth. Any extra birth information you place here. Next, you have birth order. The birth order, for example, you may not know the birth information as far as how old the individual is, so on and so forth. Well, birth order. My grandmother, she was the 5th child. You got it? So you can go up, 15? Up to 15 as far as the birth order. So you may not know the children's ages, but you may know the birth order. Here, you have the death information. Similar to birth, died on, before, after, about, between, calculate, estimate, and so on and so forth. Let me see. Month, day. I'm listening. Hear some yelling in the hallway. Nothing major. Here's the date. Actually, this is the year right here. Okay. Place of death. Um, and you notice how I have the name of the hospice as well as the town or city and my state. Now, as you can see, similar to birth, you have death extra notes. Click it, scoot over, and here's added information I've added for my grandmother since I was right there when she literally took her last breath. So you can add that information, how the person died, so on and so forth. Um, Events, if you have such events, the person, see that adopted? You can also, let me go back up here. See, you can also add, indicate if the individual was adopted. When you indicate that they were adopted, it will link the person as if he or she is a blood relative. The only problem with adding that, let's say for example, I have a younger sibling. She was adopted by her mother's sister. Okay. Well, she was one of the lucky ones. Why? Because not she grew up knowing for the most part who her mother was eventually and her father. So she knew both her biological mother and biological father, as well as her adopted mother, who was her aunt, and her adopted father. So, in keeping the record straight, if you click the adoption, it will consider the adopted mother as the blood relative, which is not the case. Not to take anything from the adopted parents, foster parents, or whatever. In those situations where an individual knows his biological parents, you leave this unchecked. You don't check it, even if they were adopted, because you know both sets of parents. And the biological parents would go above the child as far as the acknowledgement and explaining the situation. The adopted parents and foster parents, they would go down here in the notes section. I'll discuss that later. So that's something you would think about, especially if the adopted person knows both sets of parents. All right, so that's that. Events notes section. Every individual has his or her own notes section within their profile box. Now, this is where you place military information, special notes, for example, the adoption. You have deadbeat parents. Although the biological father, so and so, is a biological father, let's say John Doe. Susie was raised by whoever, and that information you would place here. If the person had military service, education, so on and so forth, all of that information goes here. Hobbies and dislikes, likes, so on and so forth. All of that information goes here. All right. Now, here, parents. If you have to, once you've advanced and you know what you're really doing, you can change. Like if you click father, if that's the incorrect father, you browse and try to find the last name of the correct father if he or she is listed, and browse and find the first name if he or she is listed. That's when you only do that if you got to change it. So if you had the wrong parent, that's when you change it. You change that information. Um, Same as with the spouse. Now here, see this number? You can change if the chronological order is incorrect. Well, you can change it. Let's say, for example, if my grandfather, Howard Graham Sr., wasn't the, if he was the second husband, I would just change that. But since he was the first husband, I leave it there. And my step granddad, he's the second husband, as you can see. I can leave it there. If that's the incorrect young or the incorrect person, I could change that. That's that. Now, let me see. Here you have marriage status. You're either married, divorced, or not married. One of the three. Let me see. Married on. Hit that tab. I can add this. You have options here similar to death and birth. You have month, if it's known. You can have the date if you know it. You can have the year and the place. Now, if you wanted to add more at such and such church, blah, 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 you can squeeze that in. And if you don't have enough space there, you could always add it up here in the notes section somewhere. And then every time you're finished, each and every time you finish, you need to click the save, because you can put all of this information in. And if you don't save it, either here or if you don't click that save, one or the other, it won't be saved. So again, every time you make any changes, add anything, so on and so forth, make sure you save it by simply clicking the save. That's it as far as the profile box. So remember, to get to the profile box, you need to be logged in. And in certain cases, you need to be logged in as an administrator. Well, to find the profile box, you hit the edit. Not the edit, the little notepad. You're going to make some updates. So either there, this will take you straight to the profile box. Here will give you the options, but still click that edit. And again, you need to be logged in to edit. Lisa, either as a family member or an administrator. And administrators are allowed to make more changes than a regular member. And if you want to be an administrator, let me know, and I'll take you through the process. And you fit the criteria, you can make an administrator. That's about it. Any questions, let me know. Thank you.